Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be doing this pen and ink crow. It's my first really pen and ink that I've ever done. So I'm going to show you from start to finish the process of this other than like the sketch. And yeah, you're going to have to let me know if you like this style of video. I'm basically going to talk over certain parts of it and tell you like what my thought process is while I'm doing this. So let me know if you like this type of video or if you prefer me to just voice like miscellaneous things that are going on, like special topics. Like I've been thinking about doing books and stuff like that. So let me know. All right, so the first thing that I'm doing is using one of my bigger markers to kind of do all of the big type of outlines. So I do switch later to a thinner one for more of the smaller feathers, but I'm using this big one for the big feathers and the outline. Honestly, I felt like once the whole thing was done, you really couldn't tell the difference, but I had a goal in mind when doing this. And literally, I'm just gonna line every single feather. Alright, so at this point I'm pretty much just starting to fill in the head of the bird. So I did these kind of long strokes for the back of the bird's head, just based on like the reference that I was looking at. So I think in the future when I do these videos, I might do a different angle because I feel like you can see my hand and like nothing that I'm actually drawing underneath it. So we might have to like change angles in the future. I'm just going through darkening these lines up. And then I'm going to start doing the little hairs on the beak. And then I'm going to fill in the eye and do all the little feathers on top of the head. So in order for me to darken up the top of the head without like completely blacking it out, I basically use stippling just to darken it up a little bit but kind of keep it more highlighted. It's kind of hard because I feel like you want things to be light and legible, but he's also a crow, so it's like it has to be dark at the same time. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting project. I definitely want to do more pen and ink just because I really like the look of it, especially when I look at people who are actually good at it. I honestly really like the head of the bird more than anything. I felt like the feathers were really difficult to do for some reason. So I'm starting the feathers now, and basically what I was doing was drawing lines but leaving like a white part at the bottom so that you could differentiate between the different feathers, since they are all black feathers, and without that line I figured they would all just kind of blend together. Later on I felt like some of the feathers were uneven, like some were light, some were dark. And I ended up not really liking how bright of a white light I left between each feather. So later on in the video, I basically go through all the feathers again and kind of darken them up a little bit. This process is just me filling in all these feathers right now. So this is like the longest part of the video. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, but you get the basic principle. And down at the bottom, I just wanted it to look a little bit more fluffy. I actually really liked the feathers that didn't have a strong outline on them, but they ended up feeling like, again, really light compared to the rest of the feathers, so I think later on I end up going back and darkening those up. So we can skip through the next bit of this because we'll be here all day if we wait for me to do every single feather. So the smaller feathers up at top, I'm just doing like a straight down pattern, and same thing, leaving that white gap to differentiate the different feathers. Definitely a lot less like pronounced, I guess. So I did leave small white gaps, and I felt like this looked really good there, but I feel like that was when I realized like the rest of the feathers weren't dark enough compared to the top, and I really liked the top. Like I felt like you could still see that they were feathers, but they weren't quite as stylized. But I do also feel like, I don't know, I'm torn between if you can tell they're feathers or you can't tell what they are, but I do like them, so. So this is where I start going in. I'm basically trying to add shadows underneath the feathers because like I wanted some depth in there, but also I think this is where I start trying to darken up some of the feathers as well. Here we're actually on day 2 now, and I'm just starting the beak, so I wanted to use some thick black lines to show kind of like how a beak looks. I'm like not sure how to describe this, but I wanted to again leave a gap for like the black hairs, and I felt like the beak looked really good, especially leaving the gap like where the two, like the top and bottom beak combine. And then I'm starting the back here, and honestly I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, what kind of pattern do I want to do? And then as I did it, I was like, oh my god, I don't know, it looks like shit. So I literally just filled it in. So this is honestly, I think, the worst part of this entire drawing. But once it's down in pen, there's nothing you can do about it. So we're gonna have to deal with the back of the bird. These feathers, I wanted to look different than the rest. I wanted to basically show like the roundness of the feathers. So I thought these ones turned out really good, but I'm just trying to, again, keep like a white gap between each new feather so you can definitely tell the difference between them. And I'm just trying to show the curvature of the feather here. So I think these feathers looked really nice in the end. Right, this is where I really start darkening up all of those feathers. So I kind of start going over the white sections with like small lines. So there's still a section, like a break between the super dark feathers, but I wanted it kind of less dark. So that way it still differentiates the feathers, but it's not like such a stark contrast. You guys will have to let me know if you preferred it like with the bright white gaps, or if you like it kind of more with the dark gaps that I ended up committing to. I do think it, in my opinion, I think it ended up looking a little bit better. I thought just darkening them all up made it a lot more cohesive, personally. Doing the top feathers as well to make them match the belly feathers. All right, finally I'm starting the feet, and I was trying to make like little lines, but then I primarily went with stippling because I feel like stippling is just such a great way to shadow things for pen and ink. I just like how it looks. I like the peppery look, but also I feel like you don't get caught up in all of the different patterns and stuff. So I just stippled the feet down here to give some dimension, and I really like how they ended up turning out. And I used more like lines for the actual talons, kind of how I did the beak. I really do like the beak. I think the beak and the head's my favorite part of the bird for sure. And once we finish up these feet, that's literally the end. So this whole drawing took me, well, I filmed 4 hours and 5 minutes. So I think that's pretty good. But let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun doing it. I want to do more pen and ink drawings in the future. Let me know what you think I should do next. All right, that's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. I hope you liked this video. If you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another one. If you're not subscribed already, why the fuck not? Hit the button right now. All right, thank you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.